Welcome back to Crash Course World History!
Woo! I'm Lauren, this is Anna, this is Pauline, and this is Daisy.
And we're the LAPD!
Today we're going to be talking about early African societies.
Oh! Lauren should know a lot about this one. What the?
So, you, me, African societies, let's go!
All the earlier societies started from nomads who lived off hunting and gathering. Due to agriculture and pacifism, it started a ripple effect in Africa. Being the second largest continent, it was very vast variety of different types of biomes. Some areas have been very rich in soil, while other areas took years and years of experimenting to figure out what methods were needed to have crops grown there. This gave the people of Africa more methods to provide for those who lived in areas where hunting was scarce.
Ain't nobody gonna be sleeping during my lesson!
So, as I was saying, it then led to the creation of complex irrigation systems and the use of crops in the trading system. This led to the increase of population, need for more land, early start of kingdoms, competition between the tribes. Though it's nothing compared to the consequences in Eurasia and America, agriculture opened the doors to new possibilities and a more sophisticated group of individuals.
Before the Islamic religion swept through Africa, most areas already had their own religions and beliefs. Many groups believed in pantheism, which meant that they only worshipped one god, which was believed to have created everything they knew at the time. Lineage groups were seen with utmost importance due to how Africans saw how tied the topic of afterlife was towards ancestors. Islam wasn't hated nor welcomed. It rejected spirit worshipping and the priestly class, which was a total no to them. It challenged many of the other religions and wasn't able to achieve converting every group. Consequently, those who did convert gained many benefits such as writing, desire and knowledge, more interaction with their holy figure, the practice of salvation and stricter government, and the increase of trade. Nonetheless, it also led to more authority being given to white men, the belief of women being of lesser value, and the beginnings of slavery. So basically, it screwed black people over.
One reason for the evolution of early African societies was migration. In areas like the Congo River Valley, they thrived in agriculture and manufacturing and exchanging goods. They were able to grow and spread their population southward towards Angola. The migration in these people was significant because they were able to spread their farming techniques in other regions in Africa. In other places like Zimbabwe, they prospered in trade, and this was able to evolve early African trade with the societies. These migrations are similar to that of Egypt, Asia, Mesopotamia, etc., because they would migrate to different areas of the world that would suit their needs. Like the early African civilizations, these migrations helped the evolution of their societies. Oh, it's time for the question box? Let's go to the question box. What role did lineage groups, women, and slavery play in Africa? In what ways did African societies in various parts of the continent differ? What accounted for these differences? So, who wants to answer this question?
I do!
No, I do!
Ladies, no need to fight over this. You can both answer it.
Fine.
Well, the legion groups were basically like the building blocks of the African society. Each village had its own legion group with a big man as the head of the legion group. The role of women in the African societies were pretty particular as well. They were subordinate to men, they were able to inherit property, and the husband had to move into the woman's house. Yes, women owning land. Weird, right? Women were also allowed to be friends with men outside of their relatives.
No wonder the population of Africa is growing so rapidly.
Slavery was not an uncommon thing in ancient Africa. Of course, Annalene would make the black girl say it, but that's okay. It occurred long before the Europeans even came. They originally used war prisoners, and they used them for forced labor. The women did domestic labor. Different parts of the continent varied in how common slavery was used, though. Some parts held as many as 75% of the population as slaves, and others had as little as 10%. Another way different parts of the continent varied was how women were viewed. As more Africans started converting to Islam, the way women were treated changed greatly. These differences are due to how diverse the continent was, ethnic division, and the different languages.
Ancient African art and culture was a very important aspect to the early societies. Wooden sculptures were the most familiar in Africa. They made sculptures of statues, masks, and headdresses. Costume singers and dancers wore these masks and headdresses in performances to various spirits, revealing the identification and intimacy of the African with the nature world. Ife, which is now southern Nigeria, introduced bronze and iron statues using the lost wax method. So, music was used in social texts of spiritual rituals like weddings, funerals, and religious ceremonies. It was also used to pass down traditions from generation to generation. These are important aspects to early African culture because it is the rods of the society today and shall never, never be forgotten.
I hope you enjoyed this video.
See you next time. Please, Mr. Dietrich, don't let there be a next time.
Oh, please.
Sir.